Good morning, everybody. So we're off to a little bit of a late start today. Just reading a bunch of news. Just got sidetracked here for a little bit. So let's just jump right into it. I'll try and stay a little longer today because we're starting so late. I try to get these done. I'm trying to get these done by 8:45. But if it doesn't happen, I'll just stay longer. So in regards to what we have going on this morning, let me just start here. This PANW just came out and absolutely crushed. And I think that that's going to be something that is going to just continue today. I really think this can run. So we're going to have to watch the open for it, obviously, because that's a huge move. When you see where you close 372 to where you're looking at opening. But I do think that this has massive potential to continue to go. So we're just going to have to see how that plays out and go from there. Now, in regards to, hey, Brandon, good morning. Let's walk through NVIDIA. So, I actually added to the position at the end of yesterday. These are the price points that we're in at from here and here on the newsletter after we did get stopped before earnings. Obviously we had the trades that are in there. Pull back. I would love for this to pull back to 209. I'd go extremely heavy if this pulls back. I don't think it's going to happen unless we get some fundamental news, some geopolitical news, something that gets this thing down. Other than that, this is just going to really continue and run. There's a couple other little issues that you could see that you could draw from it, Brandon. You have this going straight across, right? So you have that level where you're running right into it, but I don't foresee that lasting very long at all, frankly. So, let's see how it plays out, but I just don't see an issue. It's one of the reasons why I even said last night, for those that are in the community, to roll up the options trade, because worst case scenario, you're locking in like a 300% gain and you lose a third of that if it went to zero. But from here, I love it. Just pull back, please, so I can add to it. That's how I look at it. Hey, good morning. NNDM, let's do it. And as I said earlier, as people are still in, I'll stay a little later today just because of it's my fault. I got off to a late start here. Just one of those mornings, just a ton to go over. NNDM, let's just clean these indicators out because we're aware that we're below all of them, right? We're kind of above the 8 for the first time yesterday. I'm not going to get all excited about it. This was a big mover. I actually did really well with this one. And, you just have some issues here. And that's not drawn perfectly for sure, but we can draw that a little better, can't we? So, do I really want to play with this thing until I'm above this? Like, the one thing that I would want to see before I commit to this is something like that, right? Get above 653. Get above something that you've been having an issue with. Now, if you want to get super technical here on this one, and this is a great little learning lesson, and those that are new to this, what I try to do is not only show you what's going on for the day and how to benefit from it, but how to educate a little bit so that you can do this on your own without me. So see this trend line? See how you undercut right here and then you snapped back, right? So this is your double bottom. Your double bottom's in, right? But you don't have a confirmation that your double bottom's in. Getting above this is going to be your confirmation that your double bottom's in. So you can look at this trade one of two ways: get above 653, depending on how much risk you want to take, or wait for 697 or $7 and go from there. Okay, so that's it. Hey, Alex. So, you're welcome. Good morning, Shock. Let's do it. KLAC. So I've been looking at these. I've been looking at these a lot, and I don't understand this part of it. I don't understand. I finally got some decent volume yesterday. I think that happened towards the end of the day. they did a really good job of masking the volume yesterday. Yep. They did a really good job. Look at all the volume at the end of the day. So I was watching this all day, and I just want to point this out. This is the end of every single day on this stock, right? So, I mean, it's crazy, but somebody's out there buying the heck out of it. So I was looking at volume all day, and this is what I saw, right? Let me just show you the issue that I had with it, because I kept looking to buy this. See how the volume, we couldn't get above it? Look what they did to me in the last 15 minutes that just bought the heck out of it. So if I had seen that spike at any point during this day here, I would have definitely been of interest to me. So I find that interesting that they masked it. Well, I know why they do that. They do that so that people like myself don't add to it and drive the price up for them. I think this is going to go higher. I think that you've bottomed. You filled your gap here on KLAC, and now you're reversing here. See how you gap down, right? So you come in here, and then the next day you're here, and you're like, ugh, and then it reverses. And this body completely encompasses that body, so that we have what? We have a bullish engulfing. That's pretty much your bottom. You take this out, you start clearing these highs yesterday. You're above the 8, get above the 21, you're gone. And you could see the trend line right here and how that broke. But I think you're getting back to that 360. I think you'll grind higher and get up to there. I really do. I like KLA. Hey, Samet. So BNTX. So this was one we screwed around with a lot yesterday. Now, this morning you have to see, to me, I think getting to this level is a layup. I think getting to 396 is just a layup. I don't see why I'm not going to peg to this fib number. So I have to hold 375. If I don't hold that, I'm going to have an issue. But I think you're going to hold that and go higher. I think people need to understand. I'm surprised this is really all it got out of the move. I mean, just think about it this way. This is the only approved, quote, vaccine, as we're calling it. You know, people are still getting the disease. But they're getting it, less affected, and apparently you can affect people less by getting it. Look, it's the first one that has an FDA approval. Why this isn't moving more, to me, is like shocking for the greatest pandemic that happened to us in the world since I've been alive. So I'm kind of surprised it's not moving more than this and not getting more frothy. But that just presents an opportunity on pullbacks to buy this. There's no guarantee mRNA gets approved. So just think about that for a minute. There's a lot there. And let's do lemonade. So yeah, I mean, this is not something I would buy. I could see why somebody would be getting involved in this if you really were heavily into buying like these kinds of broken ideas. You kind of have this here where you broke, right? You hit it, you found the support. I would have liked it more had we broken that and just flushed everybody out. Instead, I just have lethargy. I have people that really aren't very interested. So I would avoid that. Hey, good morning, BCYC. So Bicycle Therapeutics. Well, you look like you had a great day yesterday, and you don't have any follow through yet. I don't know why this moved. I mean, that's obviously a huge move. The best way to explain something like this is to go out there and say you need it to clear this level, and then you could look at putting your trade on, right? You need to continue the move. You don't want to be buying in the middle of this bar and then having an inside day and not knowing what's going to happen or how long it's going to take. Right? You want action. You want your money to constantly be making money. So you want this 33.54 to break out and push. And then if it does, you could probably get through this wick. You probably see more buying. If you get follow through, you'll see more buying on this for sure. That was easy. So let's just keep going. Morning, Marty. All right, so let's do it. Let's do BABA and ANGI. So with BABA, I mean, I'm just going to be blunt. I'm looking at it as a short. I get the hammer. I get the huge volume. I don't think that institutions truly want to be in these names. And I think that you're going to see selling on them. Like you had a bounce yesterday. You caught the bounce. Congratulations. Take the trade is how I look at it. Take the trade. 169.57 is major resistance. Maybe you get through it. Maybe. Did you get through it this morning? No. So you really need a 170 handle for anything closing above 170. Other than that, I'm on the other side of this trade. To me, it's a great spot to get the short off and see if we get back and grind back down to 150 over time. But, we'll see how it plays out. But that's definitely where my head is with it. I'm not looking for this to run up here and, have a huge move here at all. So let's just see how it plays out. These spikes, sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Usually when you have the huge volume spikes to the downside, that puts in a short-term bottom. These huge spikes before on the green side really have not left anything but a short-term bounce. So that's how I would view this. I would be looking to sell it. You broke the channel, you're done. ANGI, I just wouldn't go near. I mean, we can look at the moving average and getting above the 8-day, but who cares? Look at this trend the whole way down. I wouldn't touch that. I'd completely avoid that stock. MRVI. So obviously this is not the move that people were looking for. You broke out, right? Pivot, came back and closed right below that fib level. It's a failed breakout. I mean, there's not really much more to say about it. That's what it is. Your last drop dead level needs to be this, because if I break 59 after failing here, because that's a failure. I mean, no matter how you want to slice it. I looked at this on the long side yesterday. This is what it did. It just didn't act right. So if I break 59, you have to go. That has to be your last level, because if I start taking out these other bars, that just means that the people that were buying on this open and were holding this close and that were refusing to buy in here and stop here, it means they're all gone, right? We don't want to be in, because that would lead us to looking for different levels, 56, 57, right? Maybe the low of the flag, 55. I don't want to be around for that. So that's how I'd look at it. I would not be a buyer until this figures out what it does. Is UPS a go? Do we jump in? Utu, I like it. Friday's bar was fascinating, because this bar to me means, nothing but pain. Like, you completely reject it in here. And it just was like, Friday shenanigans, and it didn't really affect it. Now look at the breakout that you're looking at this morning, right? So really what you want to see is it get above this entire wick. I think it's like 209.5, 209.25. I mean, I think it's great you're above this little long-legged doji, but I want to see it fill this up. Getting above this, and the fact that I might close above this would get me a close above a resistance line and the second highest point. That continues to build this flag. Right now I have the wedge breaking on the flag, and that gives me another chance to get to 220, 222. So I like that. MDXG. So, wow, that's a move. Is that from today? No, that's from yesterday. That's a nice move. This is not what I was looking at yesterday. So you had trouble with the 1287 level over and over and over again, right? Bonk, bonk, bonk. I mean, you hit it like over 7-8 times at least. We don't need this anymore because we have it here. So breaking out like that's huge. That's enormous. These types of breakouts usually have the highest probability of working when you have a huge base and it just goes. Right, you break out of that versus the grinding higher. This is usually like the first step of that move, and that could be the first step of this move. You can actually see how this line's here, right? But you've kind of moved it now, haven't we? So this can get up there. This could move. But again, something like this, when you have a huge base like this, really what you're looking for is follow through before you even consider entering it. So for us on this, it would be 1378 is what we'd want to see before we even consider it. Snap. So, this was something that looked like it was going to go and it just rejected. All you did was come back in and do what? Fill the gap. I don't really like buying this stuff in no man's land, Marty. I mean, it's not really how I trade. So I'm really in no man's land, right? I'm literally between the breakout and falling back down and retesting this gap. Do I really want to be involved in that? Probably not. So what are we going to do about it, right? We're just going to sit on the sidelines and wait. And we're going to wait to see if it gets through 79 or it gets back to 70. That's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to look for. So skills. So, I mean, you just can't go near it. There's no reason to be buying this. Look, it just looks awful. It looks awful and it's acting awful. It's not something I would touch. Let me just see something here. So, see how we're doing this morning. A couple stocks. This is interesting. If you're looking for a trade, if this does pull back to that 374 level, see if it holds there, 374, 375. If it holds there, you could go long this again. So just consider that. Just keep going through the list. And mRNA and MSTR. mRNA got a nice little move out of that, didn't it? Right? It got a great move. I'm surprised it got that kind of move. It's almost like they're buying that one because that's going to be the next one to get approval. That's a really, to me, very dangerous game. And I don't view it that way. But if maybe people that are smarter than me know more than me, right? Like saying, oh, if Pfizer got approved, mRNA is going to get approved. But factually, if you look at this stuff, this company's having way more side effects than Pfizer is. And there's actually a study out about it, with heart issues with young males. So I would be really, this is something where I would lean towards this is not going to this is not going to last. Now I could be wrong and not understand what I'm talking about because I'm not a scientist. It's not my field, right? So, I mean, the game is break 412 and you should be able to work your way back up to this 453.73. So forget what I think, but that's what happens. You need to break 412. Now this morning, you're not doing that. You're breaking down. So you're going to have to watch and see how it plays. But I would not be going long till 412. And if I was in this, I'd be out. I would take the trade and wait and see if I break 412. And then if I do, I'd get back in. Depends on the size of your positions. But, anything less than 1,000 shares of this and, why bother, right? I mean, you can just blow it out and buy it back. So anything greater, you start getting into, managing the position. And MSTR. So you're trying to break out, you're coming back down. What happens today? Falling back down. So what's happening here? Let's talk about this because this is really important to understand. Because I talk about negative divergence a lot in RSI, right? So let's just get through this. This hit a new high yesterday. You're obviously having issues with 50. It doesn't matter to me. I see a bull flag forming on Bitcoin, right? So I don't care if this is widgets, Gap stores or Bitcoin. I see a bull flag, okay? I see a bull flag on very light volume, meaning that I don't have the support that I want, okay? And I have the RSI, which is just kind of hanging in there, and I actually have a negative divergence on the RSI, don't I? And I'm doing this for a reason, okay? So I have a negative divergence on the RSI, and the RSI is going higher, okay? Doesn't mean it's going to fall down right away, but it's just something to pay attention to, and I'll show you why I'm doing this. So yesterday, we hit 50,000. Okay. A week before, we were up here. So what you're seeing happen is a negative divergence. Okay. The underlying reason why this was moving was what? It was moving because Bitcoin, they own Bitcoin. Well, now Bitcoin's over. Here Bitcoin was 40,000. Here Bitcoin is 50,000. Okay. So that would be concerning to me if I was long this, that the underlying security is no longer moving the stock with the same magnitude, right? So in other words, like it's like an energy stock. If I was long oil, or I thought oil was going to go up, and all of a sudden the most levered name in oil, which is, one of them is Oxy. If that doesn't go up all of a sudden, when energy is spiking and oil is spiking, I may have an issue. Like, see up here, like, oil was rocking, right? And this rolled, meaning coming down. Well, that was a clear sign that there was a negative divergence. So I'd be really careful with that right now. No, Larry, I didn't. I'll do it now. I'm surprised I didn't get anybody to throw that one out there. So, or maybe I did do it. I don't know. I need more coffee. So this is the way I'm looking at it. Getting above this level, this 406, 407 level, and the way you're pushing, this company crushed on every single metric last night. Like, there's no other way to describe it. This is not supposed to be their strong quarter, and they just crushed. And it's why you're seeing this demand and you're seeing it bid up this way. Now, you can get a 5 handle on this. This move is not over. This is just beginning. And I have a base that's been going on since December. So I really want to look at this. I really want to study this today. I mean, to me, this one makes a tremendous amount of sense to look at today. It's probably one of 4 that's on my short-term list to actually add to our newsletter. I just really like it, and I really think it's going to rip. So, but I need just some confirmation here. Like, you have to realize something about this, right? I'm bidding up what, 40 points? Like, could it go up 100 points? Absolutely, could. But when you start up this much, here, like, let me just point this out. You could gap fill right down to 372. I don't want to be a party to that. So I just have to keep that in mind. So I needed to do a couple things before I'm out there telling people to take a look at it. CLF. If you're out in California, you're up early. So 2583. I have friends that are out in California. I don't know how they do it with the trading, the hours. 2583. You run right into this. You run here. Look, I mean, I think it looks great, right? You're holding in here, but you got to flip this level. But this is where you buy it, right? Like here, look, let's get rid of this. I mean, this is really where you start looking at buying these. Let's get rid of all these horizontal lines. Let's get rid of this entire channel for now. Get rid of all our segment lines. And let me just point this out. Every time that this gets below the 50 or to the 50, what happens? It becomes a buy. And then it gets to the top of this channel, right? And it becomes what? A sell. So you have a trade here, right? And that could get back up to this level. And this is a really simple trade because all you're using for your stop is that break right here. So you're risking $1 to make, let's call it 24 with slippage, to make 3.5, right? So that's how you have to look at it. Your risk versus reward is really how you should be looking at all your trades. And you're at 3.5 to 1. So that could work here. That could definitely work. Good morning, Nicholas. So Hubs, I really like Hubs, and I'm just waiting for it to do one thing. And it looked like it was trying to do it last night, and we're going to see if it does it this morning. And if it does, all I'm looking for it to do is break this and break out of this level, and I'm going to be very interested in it. And the one reason that has me very interested is you see this line right here? See how we flipped that channel? We tested it twice, and we're holding it and getting ready to move. It's got everything that you want, everything. So I really like that name. ZI, so 62.91. Right? You got to flip this level and go. It could definitely do that. I like the name a lot. You can see the trend line right here that's respecting. That's also this 21 day. The issue with it for me is it came up with 2 secondaries, and those secondaries got eaten right up. Like, it wasn't even a question whether or not, they were going to get bought up or not. So I like that name. Good morning. So AMD, just a caveat, it's one that we actually put in the newsletter yesterday. I like it. Your next target, your next area that you have to watch is this 111.71. Getting through that, and you're going back up to here. I like it a lot. You just broke out yesterday. So now we're just looking for that follow through move and to get through this 111.71. But watch that line. If you don't get through that, you might come back down, retest, and then go. Some of these are bidding down this morning. I'm not so sure how realistic that is that they open down. To me, it's just games. I like seeing the strength bid down because it usually means to me that they're playing games. So let's go. NNDM, I did do. I'll do it again. You're welcome, Ro. Good morning, Justin. So let me just keep going through these. Let's go here and just keep going. Okay, Visor. So Visor, yeah, I mean, this should be moving on this news. It didn't really get the action we wanted yesterday, did it? Kind of ran up, pulled back, right? It didn't really do what we thought it was going to do. So for some reason, and I thought it would, I thought it actually might outperform BNTX, but that wasn't the case. I mean, it's tough here because now you have this wedge line too, right? Let's pull this down. So now you have this little wedge line here. So you're going to want to at least break that wedge line before you do anything now, right? Because they're walking us down. We don't like to be walked down. So AMC I am looking at. I'll look at that. The AQST I'm not looking at all. I like this. I think this could go. I think people could see an interest in this. Getting through 37 is the first level. Getting through 37.93, and you could really go here. So you should be able to run right up to this level, 43, 44, pretty quickly if that happens. So I see this one. I get it, and it is setting up to move. And you can kind of see that, right? You came down, ran up, tested, broke underneath, and now you're starting to set up again to move. So I do like that name. Dawn, DAWN. So remove this. So there's your line, right? And let me just show you this. So this is what's been going on with it. 27, can't close above it. Hits it, resistance. Where did we close yesterday? All right. I mean, it's pretty clear what you're looking for. You need 27 to clear. 27 clears and you're good. Hi, Erica. Good morning. Uber. So, the one thing I would say is it does look like this might be washed out. I'm not sure how we got down here or what the news was. Was it earnings that just drove us down the whole way? Yeah, we rallied on the earnings and then we just sold back down. So, I mean, this is kind of falling off a cliff, but what's the RSI look like on this? Let's take a look at that. Yeah, I kind of like this here. Here, look at this. So, well, let me do it this way because you'll see it clearer this way. So you have a positive divergence going on here. You have a slight uptick in your RSI. And these 2 points are obviously down. So this might be bottoming. And now the volume's starting to increase again. So there's a chance that this is bottoming. Now, that doesn't mean that you go straight up, but it does mean that maybe the pain's over. And again, this is a very simple trade. 38.75 is your stop. You break that, you just get out. I would like to flip this 41.5 before get over that because that's major resistance. Get through 41.5 before consider buying it, Erica. PAYC. So it looks great. Looks absolutely great. It's doing everything it needs to do. Did it yesterday. It looks like it's about to rip. So let me just move this and just show this even clearer. So, I mean, that looks beautiful. And you have this whole channel right here. This can really go. So I would definitely keep my eye on that one. Apple, yeah. I mean, Apple, look, here's the thing with Apple. I'm just staying away from it until I clean out and I get above this high. Until I get above 150, 170, I'm staying away from it because every time I've been buying it, it's not working. So, if I'm looking for a new large cap name, I'm going to tell people start looking at this. We've been waiting for this move for some time, and it's finally happening. So I don't think that this is going to stop. This Netflix, if you're looking for a new large cap name, I think that Netflix could keep going. So there's a bunch of them that are larger cap like that look great. NMDM I did. All right, I'm going to have to start getting out of here. And I don't see a correction coming. I don't see it coming. I think you're just waiting for something that's probably, maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. So I'm going to try and get through these really quickly. Right now, PayPal, you got to get through 278 before you even think of touching it. EXPI. So I like this here. I like how you came right down to the breakout. I mean, you came right, like, this is so fascinating to me how this works. But look what you did. You came right to the breakdown, formed a doji, made a decision, encapsulated that doji, and then the next day you took off. It's everything you want to see. So, right. So I could get right back to this 48 level really quickly on this. So I like that trade a lot. NIO, I tend to avoid. So, and I would say the same, that you just might want to just avoid this. Maybe you bounce. Maybe it holds this level. Right. Maybe, but I would just avoid it. Team, I like. You're welcome, Erica. I like Uber here. Team's doing everything it needs to do. I'll just be blunt. It's on my short list. I just need to see one more thing, and it's probably on the newsletter. I mean, I'll just throw it out there. I don't think that's any big, secret how good that looks. SE, and then I have to go here. So SE, look, I don't know if you're getting news on the China move or not. Get through 322.14, and I think it can run again. From the newsletter perspective, I'm going to follow this because I don't know that everybody got stopped out. I put this in the newsletter, and people stayed in, and rightfully so. I mean, they triggered me at the end of the day, like with the last minute. So, Planter, I have no interest in. Hope you're well and safe in Manhattan, Marty. All right, I got to go here. I got 5 minutes. Everybody have a great day.